You came here to be a creator. That's part of the reason why I believe you came here. You came here to wake up to the truth of who you are, absolutely. But once you realize the truth of who you really are, the question is, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that divine knowledge? What are you going to do with that awareness? What are you going to do with that consciousness? In this video, I'm going to be discussing why you came here to be a creator, why I believe you came here to be a creator. And we're going to talk about how to use the truth of knowing who you really are as consciousness to actually create stuff in your life. Because why not? What's the alternative? Once you know who you really are, is there really any other choice but to just start creating stuff? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So I'm going to talk about in this video why you came here to create and why I believe we came here to be creators. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So the first thing I want you to understand is that life is a playground. It's a playground. It has a certain structure to it. It has a certain set of parameters to it, but within that structure, once you know the truth, you're free. You're free within the parameters of the game. But also you can change the parameters to slight degrees, and the more conscious you are, the easier you can start to shift those parameters. The easier you can start to change things for fun. Not in a manipulation way, not in like a I need to control this reality way, but it's like a let's see what we can create for fun kind of way. Let's see what we can manifest, just because why not? Like, you don't need to manifest those things. You don't necessarily cling on to the manifestations. You're not necessarily attached, but when you know who you are as a creator, you realize that life is a playground. So I want you to understand that life is just a playground, and you are here to use this playground for fun, because why not? You came here to realize who you are and then to use that consciousness to create stuff. And now some people might say, well, Francis, like, is there any meaning to reality? Well, that's a really good question, but understand that you actually create the meaning. If you want to dedicate some negative meaning to the fact that there is no meaning, which may be true, well, then you're choosing the meaning to make the fact that there is no meaning a negative thing. So we have to understand that whatever meanings you want to choose are up to you. But the question is, are you going to fully utilize the playground of life? Are you going to fully play the game? Are you going to play the game, or are you going to pretend like you're not here and resist the game and not play? Life is a play. That's what it is. Life is a play. When you're a little kid, you're just playing. You're doing stuff for fun. When the more we develop this ego, life stops becoming a play. It becomes serious. We become attached. You gotta realize, like, we're just living on this spinning globe that we've called Earth, this thing called Earth, and then here we are, and we're taking it so seriously. Like, you don't have that much time. Are you gonna use that time, this short little life we have on the planet, as something negative? You're going to create negative meaning? Okay, by all means, go ahead. Or are you going to use this time doesn't exist, but it kind of does in some ways. There's the form, like, time doesn't exist essentially, but relatively it does exist. So what I want you to understand is that, are you going to use that time, relatively speaking, to create stuff that you enjoy, to create a life that is awesome for you and for the people around you? Or are you just gonna be a victim to your circumstances? Are you going to be in reaction to life, or are you going to become a creator of your life? Are you going to complain about life or create a new one? Are you going to complain about the circumstances you're in, or are you going to realize the truth of who you are and create a new one for yourself? You have the power to create whatever you want. It's all there. Whatever you want, it's all there. It's all there. Failure doesn't exist. The way I see it, failure is you don't fully commit to manifesting something. That's failing. If we're going to define failure in any way, which I don't actually believe failure is a thing, I'm going to define it in one way if we're going to. It's the fact that you stop going after what you really want. That's failure. You think, oh my gosh, I failed, and then you stop. That's the true failure. Not really, because I don't believe failure is a thing. We relatively define failure because humans can come up with whatever labels they want. No word actually means anything other than what we created. Life is a playground. Words are meaningless. You create the meaning. You play the game how you want. I can define a word in this way. You can define a word in another way. What right do I have to define a word like more so than any other person? I define life in one way, you define life in another way. It's all subjective, isn't it? So understand that that's a beautiful example. Well, how are you going to define this word? How are you going to define failure? Life's a playground. I choose to believe that failure isn't even a thing. You can't fail. To me, I define failure, if I'm going to define it at all, as stopping and not committing to something. The process of going after something is success to me. Not achieving a result, being in the process fully is success to me. That's my definition of success. I have that right to define any word I want, just like you do, because life is a playground. And so I want you to understand that if you're on the what you call spiritual awakening path, and you were led to this video for whatever reason, probably not by coincidence, because I don't believe in coincidence, understand that waking up to the fact that you are a consciousness, not a consciousness, that you are consciousness, you are literally not this limitation. The question is, what do you want to create next with that awareness? Because understand that I believe waking up to who you are as consciousness is just the beginning. The next step is, what does the universe want to create through you? To help others wake up as well, that's what I believe our deep inner purpose is. I believe every person has a purpose to wake up to who they are as a creator, and then of course, spread that consciousness and awareness of light. But you got to realize that the way you can help other people wake up is by creating stuff for fun. Just by creating stuff. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Have you ever been in a lucid dream before, where you realize you're in the dream and then you start changing stuff? It's a really beautiful analogy, because I'm at the point in my life where I feel like I'm at a state of consciousness where waking up to the dream of life is almost no different than waking up to an actual to a dream when you're sleeping at night, because they're both just realities that you're in, and then you're going through the motions unconsciously until you become conscious of the story, and then you realize what's actually happening. So imagine this. Have you ever been in a dream before? Of course. Have you ever been in a dream before where you realize that you're actually in the dream? You realize that you're in the dream. And then once you realize you're in the dream, something shifts. You understand that there's this sense of I-ness, there's a sense of I exist, there's this sense of you, like when you become aware that you're in a dream, what happened there? Like this is absolutely mind-blowing. If you really get what I'm saying here, this will screw with your mind. What I'm sharing with you right now could be exactly the thing you need to hear to wake up to the truth of who you are. Really take this in for a second. When you wake up in a dream, what's actually happening there? Not when you wake up In the morning, like when you realize you're in a dream, you become lucid, a lucid dream. What's going on there? The dream is happening unconsciously. It's playing some story. All this crazy, maybe monsters are chasing you. Maybe this is happening. Maybe all you have no control. You have no input over what happens. The dream almost just does it for you until you realize you're in a dream, right? You become what people call lucid dreaming. We're not talking about life right now, we're just talking about dreams. You become lucid. What happened there? You actually became conscious in that moment that you are consciousness, that you are not the dreamer, you are not the character, you are not the story, but you are the one that is aware of that dream. And then what happens is, what usually happens? When you wake up from the dream, the default thing we start to do as humans, once we have realized the realization that we were in a dream, what do? If you've ever been in a lucid dream before, and if you have, this video is gonna really hit home for you right now. What's the first thing you did when you realized you were in a dream and became lucid? I'm gonna make an assumption here. What you probably did was, assumptions aren't good, but typically this is what I did when I realized I'm lucid. I automatically do this every time. You start to change stuff. You start to create stuff. You start to manifest. Now, in a lucid dream, it's a higher dimensional reality really than here. There, in a lucid dream, you think of something and it manifests instantaneously. So I'm not going to speak on higher frequencies, lower frequencies, but perhaps lucid dreaming is a higher frequency dimension. It's a higher frequency reality in comparison to the density of this reality. Nonetheless, though, we're not going to talk about that, but let's just assume that's what we're going with here. You're in that dream and you start manifesting things. You start manifesting, of course, it might be coming from, your human desires, which are very limited, but nonetheless, though, you start manifesting. Like for me, I start manifesting food. I start manifesting people in the dream. Like, I want to manifest this person, do these things. You could do whatever you want in those dreams. When you're lucid, you have the power to create anything, because why not? Why not create stuff? You automatically start exploring, what can I create next? What can I explore? Where can I go? What can I see? Because that's your nature. Your nature is to explore into the unknown and manifest things. Just think about things and manifest them and create them. And explore the unknown of what's already been created and the other creations that people have created and the co-creation of life. So let me ask you this. If you wake up in a lucid dream and you automatically create stuff for fun, is life any different? What difference is there really? Is it not also that when you wake up from this dream, when you realize, when you become lucid of life, that's what a spiritual awakening really is. The way I see spiritual awakening is just becoming lucid in life. That's it. That's it. Like, if you want the best possible analogy with the most simple explanation to what spiritual awakening and enlightenment is, it's the same thing as becoming lucid in a dream. There's no difference. There is literally no difference to becoming lucid in a dream and having a spiritual awakening in this reality. It's exactly the same thing. If you've always wondered, how do I know if I've become aware of awareness? How do I know if I've become conscious of consciousness? I hear these YouTubers talking about it. If you become lucid in a dream, ask yourself this question: what shifted in that moment? The exact moment you became lucid in a dream, what shifted? That is a spiritual awakening. A lucid dream is a spiritual awakening in a dream. Spiritual awakening in this reality is called spiritual awakening, but I could also call it a lucid dream. And what are you going to do once you know who you are? You are going to use that consciousness to create stuff. That is why you are here. I believe we came here to realize who we are, but I also believe that we came here to manifest stuff for fun. So understand that once you realize who you are in this dream of life, what are you going to create with that consciousness and awareness? That's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on this. Did you enjoy the analogy? Did it give you a new perspective on what spiritual awakening is and why you came here? Leave a comment down below and let me know, because I love to hear your perspective and others do as well. As always, have yourself a great day and I'll see you in the next video.